Now, the huge storm which killed dozens in North America over the Christmas weekend continues to inflict misery on New York State. Stories have been emerging of families trapped for days during what's been called the blizzard of the century. Thousands of flights have been cancelled, with Southwest Airlines the worst affected.
As communities in the US and Canada continue to dig themselves out from the blizzards which struck before Christmas, more images have emerged showing the sheer scale of the storm. This is drone footage taken in the Canadian town of Fort Erie, which sits opposite Buffalo in the New York state. It shows a row of houses which are fully, as you can see, encased in ice. Incredible. No fatalities were reported in these homes, but more than 65 people have died as a result of the storm. They don't even look real, those pictures, do they?
It's an extraordinary image, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
Look like models. Don't quite seem real, those pictures, do they, Charlie?
They are extraordinary. 17 minutes past 7, I saw Carol looking in there. You don't see images like that very often, do you, Carol?
No, that's right. It looks like this set from a movie, doesn't it, Charlie and Nina? The temperatures are rising, and for many, they're going to be above average. So that in itself is going to bring some issues with flooding.
It's the time of year where there's lots of different stories inside the papers, but many of them reflecting on the year that we've had. And I've picked this one out, page 7 of the Daily Mirror. Just because of the extremities, it's felt like this is the year where climate change has been knocking on the door around the world. So the pictures that we just saw from Lake Erie in Ontario and Canada, these people's homes just completely encased in ice, layers of thick ice. In New York, neighbouring, the chief executive of Western New York said, "This is the worst storm I've ever seen in terms of death from Mother Nature's wrath." And then underneath, you might have read about this late yesterday, 2022 in the UK was the hottest year yet. Climate change driving the year average above the record that was set in 2014. And somebody from the Met office saying science has shown that temperatures witnessed in July would have been unlikely in the pre-industrial period before greenhouse gases were emitted.
Those pictures,
like really
those fully
physical,
iced
literal
up homes
warnings.
are quite extraordinary, aren't they?
They really are.
As we've seen over the last few days, Buffalo in New York has been one of the places hardest hit by the storm. Jared Webber has been helping with the cleanup there. He's been telling me what he's seen.
So we went down to the city of Buffalo on Christmas morning, and the roads were impassable. We had to bring plow trucks down and plow our ways in just to get to trees that were across roadways. The city's still a mess. We're down there every day working as hard as we can to get things opened up. One of the biggest issues we're having is all the cars that had been abandoned because the weather turned so quickly. We can't get equipment in where we need to go. One of the other things that we're fighting is the fact that it was very, very wet before we got the snowstorm. There's uprooted trees all over the place. They're through houses, through cars. It's a disaster, and everybody's working as hard as they can to get things cleaned up as quickly as possible.
Jared, just as you were describing that, we were seeing these photos that you and your colleagues have been out there doing an amazing job helping. But I gather you're not the only people helping. What's the community response been like?
So, I mean, the community response, we're seeing trucks coming in from Indiana. I saw multiple trucks from there. There's trucks from down by New York City that's 8 hours away from us. People coming in from Ohio. Community members are bringing in snowmobiles from the outerlying neighborhoods and going from car to car, checking to make sure that there's nobody in there, running to different people's houses with water and food for the people that have been trapped inside. Some of the local snowmobile clubs have brought their trail groomers in. They're navigating the streets that are otherwise unnavigatable with just regular trucks and equipment.
I see.
So the outreach has been great.
And what about, just bring us up to date if you can, because obviously we've been following this for a while now. What is the latest on the weather conditions? Are things easing?
Things have eased up here. The sun was shining today, but it's added a new dynamic to the whole situation where the snow is actually melting and becoming more compact and hard and more difficult to move. So that's requiring bigger equipment. The other issue that there is there's nowhere to put the snow. So there's trucks loading it out and driving it elsewhere where there is space to get rid of it.